Elland Road shovel ready. Leeds parade date. Farke Sacking story a disgrace. Investment plan after PSR claim made. 49ers statement on Rangers deal, and Hammond joins Everton. Morning, folks. Welcome back to The View for Thursday morning, the 24th of April, with your Leeds United news. Sorry about the slight delay this morning, having a bit of an issue with laptop, so I've had to jump between different ones, but hopefully this is as good as I can make it this morning. There's a lot of stuff to get stuck into, so we won't hang around, and we'll start off straight away with the Elland Road development update, and a significant update that came out yesterday. The proposed plans for Leeds' new look Elland Road took a big step forward yesterday after Leeds City Council Executive Board gave their unanimous backing and approval to three key proposals. The first of those three key proposals was to ask the board to approve the start of a legal agreement that would see the council sell land around Elland Road to Leeds United. The second of these was to ask the board to approve to the entering in of a memorandum of understandings with the Lowy family group, who are the development partners for Leeds United and represented on Leeds United's boards by Pete Lowy, also the guys involved in the Westfield group as well. The third proposal was to approve steps to refresh the council's vision for the future of the regeneration of land surrounding the new look and expanding Elland Road. The big news that we were all hoping for and waiting for would this be shovel ready and ready to go? And Deputy Lead Councillor Jonathan Pryor told the meeting yesterday that all the ingredients were present in order to deliver something really special for the entire city. He also went on to add that it's one of the most shovel-ready, stadium-led regeneration projects in the whole county. Councillor Alan Lamb added the following when he was asked: "This has the potential to go way beyond football benefits for Leeds. I'm pleased the council are using its abilities to support this. It's absolutely what we should be doing in conjunction with the combined authority. Important to note that none of this is predicated on taxpayer funding, simply about using the ability with the landowners and things. There are a huge number of benefits for the city, one where we all need to come together, roll up our sleeves and make sure it happens." Key line in that piece for me is the Leeds not using taxpayers' money to fund this. As we know, Manchester United looking for a complete taxpayer-led funding project for their new version of Old Trafford. So good news, exciting news to start us off today, but there's a lot more stuff to get stuck into, and we'll move on to potential Leeds United parade dates. And while nothing has officially been announced just yet from Leeds United or the council, apparently plans are being put in place for the end of season parade. Some material has been leaked, and the dates on that show Monday the 5th of May as the apparent date for a parade. Also, the Yorkshire Evening Post have put out a piece where they expect it to be around the May bank holiday, and also time slots between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. As I say, the council and Leeds United have not announced anything formally yet, but the details and the dates in this leaked information are said to be accurate. So you're looking at May 5th between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. for the end of season parade. Hopefully there is a trophy in that, but that might depend on the next story being true or not, as the case may be. And we'll talk about the Daniel Farke Sacking story that went out yesterday. The story appeared yesterday after we had put up our news bulletin for the day, and I wanted to give this a little bit of time to try and find all the information out that's around there, knowing that there would likely be some form of an update coming this morning. Yesterday, the Daily Mail's Mike Keegan published an exclusive that stated that Leeds United could sack Daniel Farke even with promotion. The key in this for me is the language that's used continuously throughout the whole piece. The words could are being used regularly, as well as the word may also being used quite regularly throughout it. And at one point, the article even states that we don't believe that this is likely to happen. But there is also enough noise around this and some other wording in this that may give it a little bit of credence. So it sits in that middle bracket where you can make up your own mind whether you believe this to be true or not. But I'll give you the detail. In this piece, it says that Leeds United are considering making a managerial change at the end of the season, that because some of the Elland Road board right now have reservations about Daniel Farke's Premier League record. Parag Marate has already said that he didn't believe that Daniel Farke was backed correctly when he was with Norwich in the Premier League. The first year he was there, only getting £9 million to spend. And he did say a year ago that Leeds would back Daniel Farke in the Premier League should he get Leeds there, which he has now done. The article goes on to say that no final decision has been made on this right now, and there is an awareness behind the scenes that such a move could backfire, especially with certain sections of the fan base. The key issue in this piece for me is that the line that says that Leeds are unlikely to pull the trigger unless a replacement is lined up and they firmly believe will be a success, and that is far from a foregone conclusion. One of the potential replacements that has been named is Jose Mourinho, who has expressed an interest in managing a newly promoted team to the Premier League last year, as well as having lots of nice things to say about Leeds United in the past. He's always talking quite highly of Leeds. The second line in this comes from Leeds Live, and they say that Leeds United are making no comment, but that some sources are close to the situation have blasted the report as a disgrace and say that they understand that the club are only concentrating on a potential title win in the final 2 games. There's a few sides to this, I suppose, that should be explored, but they don't all add up, and that's probably what's more important here. The 49ers will want a title win. They will want that trophy. They will want to show that as the new American owners of Leeds United, that they're winning silverware within their first 2 years. They will likely want to bring that to Levi Stadium and parade it around to show, look, we're winning things around the world. So to leak in a story like this at this time when you're 2 games away from potentially winning a title seems like torpedoing your own ship and doesn't seem like something that would have any kind of a positive impact, and likely have the polar opposite and impact that potential title winning campaign. The other version of this is that it's a really good time to put a story out around Leeds United. There's an awful lot of eyes on Leeds United. Our video on Monday was the highest watched video within a 24-hour period we've had on the channel in some time. So that shows you there's an awful lot more eyes coming back on Leeds United. So a perfect time to get those clicks if you want to put a story like that out. But there is another side to this, and it could be the minority aspect of this, and maybe someone lower down in the club has leaked this to try and kickstart a conversation or spark a reaction. But again, that would only have a negative impact on any investor's situation. Because it could lead to Leeds losing the title and only going up in second place, which isn't a massive thing, but that trophy will mean an awful lot to investors at the end of a season. And that's, I suppose, ego and vanity comes into play with that as well. So there is a factor, but we'll see what happens. It's a really crappy time for this story to come out, regardless of what side of the fence you sit on, whether you want Farke in or Farke out. That's a personal preference. But for a story like this to come out at this time seems incredibly unusual. I asked Graham Smith this morning, was there any update on this story? And Graham said, no, nothing expected. Leeds have a title to go and try and win. So that's where it is for now, and we'll keep an eye on it over the next coming weeks and months. Moving on to the next story of today, and this one relates to the potential investment needed for Leeds United to survive in the Premier League. And according to reports that have come out today, Parag Marathe has a £100 million plan at Leeds to overhaul the squad this summer. Marathe has made similar comments in the past about pushing the boundaries of PSR, which then ultimately felt like it kind of fell short of what was initially promised. Daniel Farke, even after the win on Monday night, talking about the fact that he wanted players in January, but the club are working under tight restrictions, which leans more towards a PSR problem than it does towards anything else. But Simon Jordan has been speaking about this, and he has laid out what is needed to back these managers in the Premier League and what Leeds should do if they want to stay there, saying the following. If you bring a side up from the Championship with a predominantly Championship-based players, you know you've got to have an element of gold dust and some money being spent to support the manager. If you're Norwich and you spend £9 million when you get promoted, you don't give your manager a chance. You take Scott Parker up with Fulham, he gets 30 million. What are you going to do with 30 million pounds in the Premier League when you've got people spending hundreds of millions of pounds with established Premier League squads? I would think that a reasonable amount of money to be spending when you get promoted to the Premier League is somewhere in the region on transfer fees of 50 to 60% of the total amount of money you're going to get from being in the Premier League, which is around £120 million. I would estimate, and I guess, in my personal opinion, that £120 million would be a little bit light for what Leeds will need next year if they want to maintain that and not fall into the same brackets as the other clubs that have gone up. The PS Star will be an issue. It has been an issue for the 6 sides that have all gone up in the last 2 years and all come straight back down. So Leeds owners will need to be a little bit creative with what they do around commercial deals as well as additional investment in order to bring more revenue in to allow them to spend the money that they have in the summer transfer window. But it's, as we all know, it will be a massively important transfer window for Leeds United. But let's move on to the Rangers and Leeds 49ers saga that's been going on. And we've been waiting for some more direct news on the Glasgow Rangers takeover. And now we have it. Murate is part of a US-based consortium along with 49ers Enterprises and health tycoon Andrew Kavanagh to try and buy a 51% controlling stake in Glasgow Rangers Football Club. Rangers made a statement yesterday on this, after which a spokesperson for the 49ers Enterprises Global Footballing Group said the following: "The strength of our commitment, resources and ambition for Leeds United remains unchanged. We look forward to competing in the Premier League next season. Rangers and existing controlling shareholders are in productive conversations with the 2 lead managers of the consortium, Andrew Kavanagh and the 49ers Enterprises Global Footballing Group, about the potential for a consortium to acquire a controlling stake in the club and to inject additional capital." On the Rangers side of this, their statement read as follows: "These discussions reflect a shared recognition of the importance of Rangers FC's long-term direction, ambitions and management." Earlier this year, Greta Steinson moved into a new role as part of the 49ers Enterprises global football strategy as they look to move into a more global multi-club footballing model, which has been incredibly beneficial for several clubs in the Premier League that have gotten involved in that. And we'll see how that pans out in the next couple of months. They're hoping to have that deal done and dusted before Rangers kick off their new season next year. And then finally today, just a really, really quick update on the Nick Hammond situation. And Everton have announced that they've agreed a package to bring Leeds United's transfer consultant, Nick Hammond, to the club to work alongside their new CEO and former Leeds United CEO, Angus Kinnear. Hammond is expected to replace their outgoing transfer specialist, Kevin Thelwell, who is heading to Glasgow Rangers to join their new look team behind the scenes. We wish Nick Hammond all the best and thank him for what he's done for Leeds United. It's a real shame for me that he's moving on and leaving. I think he would have been a fantastic person for Leeds to keep around the place, given what he's done in the last 2 seasons. But hopefully Leeds have got bigger plans behind the scenes, what they plan on doing next season. Folks, that'll be it for me this morning. Back tonight with a podcast to preview the weekend's actions with Andrew Stats-Dalton, as well as Tom from the Leeds 11 coming on to chat about the game on May 10th. Talk to you then. Enjoy the rest of your day. See ya.